The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Sony Open update. Don't expect too many of these short videos throughout the course of the year because eventually I'm going to get back to doing the live chat every Wednesday with Reed Fowler, but the timing right now is rather precarious because I might be gone for like 2 weeks, and frankly, not that many people give a shit about golf right now, that once football ends and I'm back from my sabbatical, that we can get back to our Wednesday chats. Those are a lot of fun. So if you're missing Reed Fowler, don't worry about him. He will return at some point. And if you want to get into a draw for 20 DK dollars, give the episode a like, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section, and tell me which of the top 5 players this week, all the guys over $10,000, that you are going to fade. For me, when I look at my lineups, I'm actually fading 3 of them completely because I only played 20 lineups, had to make some tough choices. I am playing Mark Leishman and Justin Thomas, so no Bryson, no Spieth, and no Gary Woodland for me. The big thing really comes down to Bryson. Bryson, I feel like, is the one who's going to kill me. Woodland's going to carry a bunch of ownership, and I really think that Spieth is going to carry ownership too. Everyone's talking about not playing him, but every time we see this with one of these top-end players where it's like, oh yeah, don't play him, let's play wait and see, that everyone thinks that the ownership is going to be super low, so then they end up playing him anyway, and he ends up at like 17-20%. So I'm just on a full fade of Spieth here, and I ended up using Cameron Champ below him instead. But I do want to talk about some of my bets for the week. We gave out a few on Monday's show, which you can go back and watch. Same as the DK show on Tuesday with Rick Gaiman. That was a very solid show, but I finalized my card. You can find the entire thing up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. You can find it in the description, in the comment section. It's all there, but nothing really changed for me because I started with Mark Leishman at 20-1. He's down to 14-1 in some spots, so that's where my card starts. And the second one, Jeff and I were discussing it on the show a little bit, that I kind of wanted to take someone in that next range. I really struggle with Cameron Champ. You can find him as deep as 28-1 right now, and I ended up not taking Champ and adding 3 guys down in the card for the exact same amount of money that it would take for me to bet Cameron Champ. But I went with Paul Casey instead. Initially, I had bet him at 33-1. And then I went on the next day and saw that his odds were 35-1, so I cashed out my 33-1 and then bet him at 35-1 on one of the sites. And then I went perusing on Wednesday morning. All of a sudden, boom! Hey, on Bovada, there's Paul Casey at 40-1. So he was still 35-1 on the other side. I cashed that money out, went over to Bovada and bet at the same amount of money at 40-1 because, hey, 5 points ain't nothing. That's just extra money in your pocket for the exact same bet if you can find it. So site shopping should always be the first thing that you're looking at, especially later in the week. Now, some sites don't allow cash outs, so you're screwed if you make the bets early. That's why betting on sites with cash outs, it's not just the option later on in the week. You can find yourself better value in week. I ended up playing Matt Kuchar 40-1 with a top 5 each way. Ditto with Ian Poulter at 60-1 with the top 5 each way. The problem was I can find him at 66-1 in some spots now, but you can't cash out an each way bet, so I'm stuck with the 60-1 number. I still like that a lot, though. I'm big on Ian Poulter this week after the ball striking last week. Now, a few of the new ads that I ended up with, after talking with Rick yesterday on the DraftKings show, I started thinking about it that I kind of like Kevin Tway a little bit. He fits that narrative of someone who played last week. He played well at the OHL, which I am seeing as the direct corollary course. I do like Honda a lot, but these guys just played it in Mexico, El Camaleon, if that's something that you're looking for. So I like him at 75-1 with the top 5 each way. And then Danny Lee, who I was on anyway, ended up coming in second at that tournament in Mexico. He is 80-1. I played that with the top 5 each way. The 2 bombs that I took just for kicks, Sung Jae Im, who rates out really well in the FantasyNational.com simulator. There's just so few stats on him that he really rates out well on the length of holes provided at Waialae. And the last time that there was just some sort of like weirdo who was inside the top 5 in terms of overall winning odds versus his price, it was Austin Cook at the RSM last year, and he ended up winning that tournament. So that was a nice 80-1 cash. I don't love it because he didn't play last week, but 90-1, maybe you can get that top 5, and boom, the week is paid for. Plus, you win a little bit as well. And then I took Michael Kim, only because I don't think that he's going to lose over 10 strokes off the tee again, and off the tee play is less important this week than it was last week. So he could even lose 1 or 2 strokes if the approach stays the same and the putter flips a little bit. He's 250-1. Frankly, I'm just looking for a top 5 here. All of my first round leader bets are on that cheat sheet as well, so I'm not gonna spoil it right here. You can go click through and follow the page if you do. The only addition to it, I actually forgot to add Michael Kim to the first round leaders, and they're all first round leaders plus a top 5 each way, so half the bet goes towards the outright, half the bet goes towards the top 5 at 1/4 the odds. That's what the each way is if you're looking for it. There's a lot of books that don't offer it, but the one that I play on the most, because I'm in Canada, a lot of Brits and Euros can do this as well. I'm not sure where you can find it in the United States, but it'll come along eventually. It's the best way to play first round leaders, one of the softest markets, but I added Michael Kim 150 to 1 to the list that I have up there on the actual cheat sheet. One and done, I said it on the show, I'm taking Justin Thomas for my show team. I have another team, and I'm not going to reveal my pick for that because I am competing in this tournament as well. It is someone inside the top 15 in odds, however, and I don't think he's going to be super duper popular. Feinberg took Mark Leishman, and Andekust finally came out of hibernation to take Hideki Matsuyama. So very cursed Hideki Matsuyama this week. So watch out for him. Maybe he'll end up first round leader. Tim will brag that he has the right pick. Then all of a sudden he goes full Keegan and misses the cut. Who knows? When the Ander curse is in play, everything is on the table. I would expect Justin Thomas, Leishman, and Gary Woodland to be the 3 most popular one-and-done picks for the week. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take them, but if you do want to find a nice pivot spot, no one is using Bryson, and I can't even bring myself to do it. I love Bryson so much. I just feel like he's gaining so many strokes with his putter and off the tee and didn't with approach last week that, of course, it's Bryson. He can flip that. He can work on it, and all of a sudden, Bryson's running away with it. And you're like, man, I'm an idiot for not playing Bryson DeChambeau. But based on what I saw last week, I don't like his fit for this course all that much. Cameron Champ looks like he's going to fly underneath the radar, though, and he was like the last guy cut from my betting list. I'm going to use him a lot on DraftKings, but I just don't see a lot of people using him here. Did play well in Mexico, has obviously had the great swing season. The irons haven't been there, but the putting has. So it's a very difficult situation with Cameron Champ. I wouldn't go scumming for the Jimmy Walkers of the world, the Scott Piercys, all the popular sleepers, but it's a situation where if you want to use like Kuchar or you want to use Kyle Stanley, someone like that, Ian Poulter, that it's digging a little deep because now you're at 40 to 1 and 66 to 1. But those guys are going to be lesser owned in the one and done than the very top guys. Some people won't want to use the top guys in this situation. That's why I think a lot of people will go Woodland or Leishman because they won't envision themselves using them at like the US Open or the Masters, that this is a great spot. I'm using Justin Thomas solely because, look, if I use Justin Thomas, let's say, at the Masters, the US Open, or the Players, whatever it is, one of the big events, if he comes third in that event, it doesn't pay as much as him coming first in this tournament. So don't really worry about that. He is a very short favorite for a reason. I would love to bet him. Unfortunately, he's down to 5.5 to 1, and that's just not my range when I start betting, being someone that short in a full field event. But he's an overwhelming favorite here in a pretty weak field. It's a nice spot to really unleash Justin Thomas if you want to use him. If you have the faith that he's going to win, and I think that he can, he has by far the best odds, and even when I ran all my modeling, he's the one who rates out the best. The simulator loves him a lot, that he's the guy to use. No one's going to use Spieth if you want to use him. Not for me, but if it's for you and you have faith in Jordan Spieth, this is a nice week to get him when no one is going to be on him. I am going to play the wait-and-see approach with him. For the actual Sony Open, I actually looked at the wind just off the course. I used windfinder.com. The actual, it's called Wailea Beach Park / Oahu, is the windfinder station that I'm looking at. And until Saturday, so it's hard to project out too far in advance, but Thursday and Friday, there is no distinct wind advantage. In fact, there's very little wind to begin with. Gusts, the maximum amount of wind they're projecting right now, 10 miles per hour for when they're actually on the course. So ball strikers galore here. Don't worry about the wind causing any problems. It's not going to have a tee advantage. I mean, there's always stuff that could pop up, but there's nothing in the projections for that right now. And finally, actual ownership for the week. You can find the list in my column up on DraftKings playbook.com, the actual DK cheat sheet. You find it in the description of the video as well. Everyone knows. Follow my Twitter. You can find it up there. Justin Thomas, Charles Howell III, Zach Johnson, Gary Woodland, Mark Leishman, Paul Casey, and Scott Piercy are the guys that I have at around 15 or more ownership. I think that Woodland or Justin Thomas will end up being the highest owned. Plus, you have a situation where that does leave Bryson and Spieth as great game play theories, and I'm just not. I should really play Bryson. I'm kicking myself when he's in the winner's circle and I didn't use him. I think he is the definite pivot from the top end that you want to go with here. Finally, Kevin Na actually withdrew at this point. David Hearn will replace him in the field. Hearn's not going to be eligible for DraftKings, but do not play Kevin Na. It looks like he's going to miss some time with this finger problem. He was trying to putt with the splint on. Guess it didn't work out all that well. He withdrew last week, so do not play Kevin Na. Not that you probably were anyway. That'll do it for the quick update for the Sony Open. All the content is up on the YouTube feed right now, and if you want to get into a draw for $20 DK, smash the like, leave your DraftKings handle, and tell me which of the top 5 you are going to fade at the Sony Open this week on DraftKings. And if you want to catch up on the shows, boom, you can find them right above my shoulders right now. So go, we need those clicks, and download the podcast, because that's where the Listener League is going to pop up first next week. We only had 250 spots. I'm working on more for next week. That stuff is not up to me. Keep tweeting at DraftKings, at DK Live. Make the PME Open bigger, all right? Someone go win some cash at the Sony Open and become a member of FantasyNationals.com today to really make all this stuff very efficient and quick to do. The research, the lineup generation, it's all there for you, all right? I'm Fat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Fat Mayo Experience! Experience!